Welcome back to my channel Lomzy Sews. In today's sewing tutorial, I will show you how to cut and sew this dress with drawstring. It's a very simple tutorial but it's very technical. So if you want to learn how to make this and you're a beginner, you need to really pay attention and watch till the end of this video if you want to learn how to make this dress. I'm not trying to scare my beginners, but I'm just trying to let you know you have to really pay attention so that you'll be able to grab one or two. If this is your first time coming across my channel, consider subscribing and turn on your notification bell icon. To sew this, I'm going to use 2.5 yards of fabric. I use polyester. You can use any of the fabric I've listed on the screen as you can see now. First, I'm going to fold my fabric into four as you can see because I'm going to cut both the front and the back at the same time. So I have one on fold as you can see, that will be for the back, and I have this one for the front. As you can see, I've added 1 inch for joining allowance in front. First, I'm going to mark a straight line. This line will be my shoulder line, and that's where all my vertical measurements will start from. And what I have left is also for my sewing allowance. From here, I'm going to measure neck width of 3 inches. And then I'm going to divide the shoulder divided by 2 and mark that here. On that place, I'm going to come down 1 inch for shoulder slope. I'll connect these two lines and extend it down. From the center back here, I have 23 inches from the center back. You can actually make this to be 27 inches. So I'll connect these lines and extend it to the full length of the sleeve. So how to take your measurements for where you want the sleeve to be? Take from the center back, from your center back down to the sleeve where you want it to be. Next, I'm going to mark the neck depth of 1 inch and connect it like this. Next, I'm going to mark the length of the top. So from the shoulder line, I'm going to come down the waistline, which is 18 inches, but I'm not using this 18 inches. I'm going to add 1 inch. You can also add 2 inches to that because of the fold. Next, I'm going to add 1.5 inches for the hemming. I'll go ahead and square out this line on the 19 inches. Square that line on the 19 inches. Anyways, that's not really necessary. Next, I'm going to make an angle here as you can see what I'm doing. Next, I'm going to mark the sleeve round, your sleeve round divided by 2. Mine is 16 inches. I marked 9 inches. From the shoulder, I'm going to square out this line to meet the line I just made now. And I'm going to square it out like this. On this line, I'm going to mark the hips divided by 4 plus 2.5 inches for ease. I'll square it down to the hemline. I'll go ahead and connect this like this. Next, I'm going to make a curve here to make like a dolman sleeve. This is it for the top. I'll go ahead and add 1/2 inch sewing allowance here and cut it. Also here, I'm going to cut this straight and add 1/2 inch sewing allowance on the shoulder line. So we are done cutting this. You can see how easy and simple it is to cut. But the main thing is in the making. Where you need to really pay attention to learn the tips and tricks we use in cutting and sewing drawstrings. So continue watching and pay rapt attention. So next I'm going to do is to cut out the front. I've only cut out the back. For the front, I'm going to come down 3.5 inches. If you actually made your neck width to be 4 inches, that means you're going to just come down 5.5 inches in front. I made mine 3 inches. The width is 3 inches, so I'm coming down by 3.5 inches. I don't want it to be too wide. That's why I'm using 3.5 inches. Next, I'm going to cut the lower part. We're going to use the back pattern to cut out for the lower part. So I'm going to place the back unfold like this and add the lower part to this. So I'll use exactly the same length. Here is it after cutting it out. As you can see, I have 4 pieces. This is for the front and for the back. Remember, the back and front is the same thing. The only difference is just that I added 1 inch in front for slit. Next is for us to sew this. So I'm going to place right side facing together. I'm going to place the front on the back, right side facing together like this. And I'll sew the shoulder. So you go ahead to your machine and sew here 1/2 inch. Also sew here 1/2 inch. The same thing on the other side, 1/2 inch here and 1/2 inch here. For the center, I'm going to fold the center into two like this. There'll be a slit in front. So I'm going to measure 6 inches down. You saw the thumbnail is lower than that. You can measure 7 or 9 inches. I'll go ahead and sew away the 1 inch I added. So after sewing that, I should have a slit in front like this. And this will be like this. So I'll go to my machine now and sew this. This is it after sewing it. I've sewn the shoulder and the neckline. We are going to hem the slit in front. So I'm going to use my hemming gum and place it under like this. Make sure to weave all what you have sewn before you do this stage. So I'm going to place the hemming gum under it like this and iron it on it. I'd like to use this opportunity to thank all my returning subscribers. Thank you for your support, for sharing my videos out. I can see you guys, I can see your work. Thank you very much. I appreciate a whole lot. If this is your first time coming across my channel, make sure to join the community by subscribing and turning on your notification bell icon so that you don't miss my videos. Next, we are going to sew the lower part of this dress. For me to do that, first of all, there's a false pocket. So I'm going to sew the false pocket first before I go ahead and join it to the upper part. So I'm going to make a crease here on one of the skirts. So I'm going to make a crease here as you can see me do. This is this crease as you can see. So I'm going to take 2 inches from the center front. The same thing on this other side. I'm going to take 2 inches. And from the top of the skirt, I'm going to come down 2.5 inches. I'm going to mark this. This is the place where I'm going to be putting the false pockets. So this is the pocket. I'm using the fabric for the pocket. I have here 6 inches by 5.5 inches. So I'll sew it 1/2 inch on two sides. I'll go ahead and turn it over like this. I'll place it on that line that I have marked. This is where I'm going to sew this. Remember, this is a false pocket, so I'm going to turn it over like this and sew away 1/2 inch. The same thing on the other side. Sew it here and turn it over to the other side. You can decide to top stitch this. This is it after sewing it. So next I'm going to place the back of the skirt on it like this and I'm going to sew 1/2 inch away. The same thing on the other side. Next you're going to pay rapt attention here because we are going to sew the drawstring. So I'm going to place the wrong side together. Place the wrong side together. This is the wrong side and this is the wrong side. You're going to place the wrong side facing together and you're going to have 1 inch 1 inch as you can see what I'm doing here. So you're going to place it like this. The skirt is on the shorter one, the upper side is the longer one. So I'm going to place this like this and go to my machine now and I'm going to sew 1 inch away all round. This is it after sewing it as you can see. I'm going to hem this like this. But before we do this, we are going to place an eyelet or buttonhole for the drawstring. So I'm going to turn this like this, and from the center front I'm going to mark 1 inch away from the center front. So here I'm going to mark 1 inch here, and also on the other side of the center front. I'm going to add, either you use a buttonhole here or you're going to use an eyelet, whichever one you want, you can do. But for me, I'm using an eyelet here, so that's why I've made this hole. So the eyelet I'm using is big. Make sure you get a smaller eyelet. I have here size 26 inches, so use a smaller eyelet. This is it after making the eyelet. It's very, very big. Use a smaller one that is like maybe 26 inches. So next thing I'm going to do is to fold this like this, and I'm going to sew it all around. So do the same thing and sew it all around. This is it after sewing it. It's looking very neat, right? Yeah, very simple but really kind of technical. Next is to hem the sleeve. For me to hem this, I'm going to use this fabric. I'll cut this into two for the two sleeve. What I have here is 4 inches. I'll cut it into two for the two sleeve. So I'll go to my machine now and place this like this and sew it round. Remember, I'm going to cut this into two. I'll top stitch it and hem the lower part. This is it after sewing it, as you can see. Next, I'm going to hem the lower part. So I'm going to fold this like this, 1/2 inch, and also fold again and sew it all round. Next is for us to make the standing collar. I'm going to take the measurements of the collar, the neckline like this. Although I'm going to just use a straight fabric, I'm not going to make any kind of collar. I have 8.5 inches here, so I've measured that on this fabric. What I have here is 4.5 inches, and this will be enough for the neckline. So I'll go ahead and put hemming gum on it and we sew it. So here I am on my machine. As you can see, I've added sewing hemming gum on this. So I'll just place this on the neckline like this and sew away 1/2 inch. So watch this part while I sip a glass of water. So this is it after sewing the collar. As you can see, the standing collar is a very simple one, is a straight fabric. Next, we are going to add the string for the sleeve. So I have this fabric that is 5 inches that I've made. The length is 5 inches. I'm going to place it like this on this fabric and sew it. I've already sewn this side, as you can see. I'm going to either use button here or anything, but I think I'm just going to use, just tack it here. Go to my machine now and tack it here. So guys, we have really come to the end of this video. So for the drawstring, I made a long rope for the drawstring, and I have left some place in the center that I have not sewn. So that's where I'm going to turn it and use it to pass here. We have come to the end of today's sewing tutorial. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.